Socrates even said, to learn is to remember. Isn't that interesting? Because we already know everything we need to know. Don't call anyone your friend who makes you forget things. By putting obligations on us, our friends make us forget things. When they say, you need to show up to this, you need to support me because you're my friend, and they call it support, but all it is really just they want to suffer together with you. They want you to be included in their suffering so that they're not alone. That's what they call support. Then they make us forget that we have no obligation to suffer, especially not for someone else, so that they feel better about their own self-imposed obligations and the sufferings that come from them. It's madness. And anyone who pushes us into madness, into forgetfulness, into that oblivion, we cannot call a friend. And vice versa. Anyone who comes to you and says, let go, right? Take it easy. Realize you owe nothing to anyone. And the world, by the way, doesn't owe you anything. So stop it with your expecting of things and start accepting. Because reality is reality for the very fact that it is what it is. Everything that is in the world is reality for the very fact that it is. That's what makes something reality. And when we resent anything that happens in the world, we're going against reality. We're trying to change reality by saying, this is what happened to me. I don't like this. I don't accept it. Well, it's going to happen anyway because it already is happening, whether you accept it or not. So you can cry and scream and be dragged towards where reality is going, or you can walk with it and even ahead of it willingly. You know, one of my favorite philosophers, Simone Weil, says to not accept or to not accept an event in the world is to deny reality. Something like that. I'm paraphrasing. But that's exactly what that is. And so she's a friend for saying that. You see? And you don't need people around you to approve of what you think and what you say and what you believe and what you want to do with your life. You don't need anyone like that. If you want affirmation, which all of us need, encouragement, right? We're social animals. Go to some of the friends that we just talked about in this conversation. Go to Seneca, Epictetus, Simone Weil, Marcus Aurelius. So many people, right? And that's all you need. These people are real. They're realer than real because they're not even here, but their ideas we're still talking about. Why is that? Because it rings true. Okay? So it's nice to be reminded by a friend. But you can also and must, in fact, do this for yourself primarily. Just remember, just remind yourself. And that's what Marcus Aurelius's meditations are for him. As we know, he did not write those to be published. He was an emperor. He was not an author sitting around trying to publish a book and writing a book. Those were his personal meditations, literally, things for him to think about, perhaps in times when he was feeling unsure and when he was facing challenges. He came back not to some friends or not even to other people's writings at that time, but to his own writings. How amazing is that? He said, I have everything I need. And as I think of them, I write them down. And as I need them, I read them. How beautiful is that? And that's not just for him. That's not just his ability. You have the exact same capability. And I would even argue that you're in a better position because even as an emperor, He did not have access to all of the books all of the time. You do. And in fact, there's so many amazing people that came after him that he never got to read, that you do. These are all friends who can remind you of things, who can show you things, who can make you realize things. And then you can go and write things down that make sense to you, that you want to develop. That's what I was talking about with the privilege to do the work of life. It's your privilege. And yeah, sometimes you won't get to because of things in your life, your job, studying, family, whatever it is. But guess what? Even 5 minutes, and I don't even want to say 5 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever it is enough. It's amazing that it's, I always compare it to dreaming. When you dream, apparently, it feels like you've been dreaming all night for hours and hours and hours when you wake up sometimes, right? But apparently dreams happen in the last few minutes before we wake up. And sometimes our dreams feel like hours or days, right? How does it do that? The brain can think so much faster than you can experience in many ways. And it's the same, I noticed it's the same during meditation. And when I say meditation, I just mean sitting in silence, closing your eyes, and going inward. That's all I mean, right? What we can accomplish in 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes of meditation is amazing. It feels like an eternity, right? Sometimes I do it and I open my eyes and it's, 14 minutes have passed, but it felt like 2 hours in a good way. Like it felt like the space around me expanded. I had more room. I had more time in my life to live. And so if you just have 5 minutes to sit in silence, remind yourself of the things you already know, or pick up Marcus Aurelius or anyone, whoever you want, or your own writings, and just go through them for 5 minutes, not thinking about anything else. Let go of everything else. This is your time to spend with ideas, right? And 5 minutes of that will make you feel 5 times better. It's amazing. And to be honest, most days we have even more than 5 minutes, if we want to be honest, right? We might not feel like it energy-wise. We might have a lot of excuses, but we have 5 minutes and we have 10 minutes. And you know what? Most days we have an hour, actually, to be really honest with you, right? So, I've heard from people all around the world. I heard people from war zones saying this works, and I do have the time, and I read and I write, and it's changed my life, right? So I know all these things for a fact that we have that time. If we make the time and space, we can do it. There's so much to let go of and to put towards this, right? Instead of worrying about what other people might be saying about you somewhere, instead of thinking about that thing that happened 4 years ago, instead of thinking that challenge that you might have to face in 7 months, take some time from those things and put it towards remembering the things that you already know.